Shalom Aleichem, Assalamu Alaikum. Welcome to 1 Kings chapter 6. Title of this video is either Solomon's Temple or the Temple of Solomon. You will see this thumbnail using this image here. Okay, so after I cover the differences between these two texts, the Septuagint and the Masoretic, we will watch a video, short 1-minute video. Before that, we're going to look at more images of what the Temple of Solomon might have looked like. But without further ado, without further delay, kind of hate using that, but without further delay, let's look at the differences. So 38 verses in this chapter. And from the get-go, verse 1 gives us different years, different lengths of time from when Israel came out of Egypt to when Solomon ordered the building of the temple. So we have 440 years in the Septuagint versus 480 years. So the Septuagint gives us a more accurate timeline. As for what seems to be omissions in the Masoretic, these sections are actually, they are part of the Masoretic, but in verses 37 to 38. And just for the record, it took Solomon 7 years and 6 months to complete the building of the temple. Now, there are various discrepancies in terms of numbers, the length, the breadth, height, and the materials used, and the different descriptions of the inner workings of the architecture. I'm not going to go over those just for the sake of this video. I will simply go over what I feel are notable differences. So in verses 11 to 14, these verses were added, but they were actually part of the Alexandrine text. The only difference is verse 12, where in the Alexandrine it says to establish my word versus perform my word. Okay. So again, verse 15, that's just talking about the temple discrepancies. I won't go over that. Verse 18, the full verse was added. So I'll read that. And the cedar of the house was carved. The cedar of the house within was carved with knops and open flowers. All was cedar. There was no stone seen. And verse 21, this was added as well. So Solomon overlaid the house within with pure gold, and he made a partition by the chains of gold before the oracle, and he overlaid it with gold. Okay, verse 23 talks about the material the cherubim were made of being olive tree. And the footnote regarding the cherubim is that the tips of their wings were touching the other cherubim's wing, not touching his own wings. The same cherub. It's two different cherubs meeting their wings together. Verse 27 gives us, in the Septuagint, provides exactly where the cherubs are located, not just the inner part of the house, but the middle of it, the midst of it. Okay, actually, it does say that in the Masoretic. It's just at the end. You just have to pay attention. Verse 31, a big difference, talking about the kind of wood that was used. Juniper tree. Juniper wood from the juniper tree, obviously, versus wood from the olive tree. So what is the difference? Juniper wood comes from a tree that is 20 to 40 meters tall. The olive tree is only 6 to 9 meters tall. So that's a quarter to half the height, depending on how tall the tree is. It describes porches being made in a fourfold way versus the lintel and side posts, a fifth part. Not sure what that means. Verse 32 to 33 were added. However, in the Septuagint, verse 35 contains the gist of verse 32. So I won't go over that. I will simply read verse 33, which is added. So also made he for the door of the temple posts of olive tree, a fourth part of the wall. So why would he take olive tree to use to make the door when most of it is made of cedar or wood? I should say not cedar, made of cedar or fir, not wood. They are both wood, different types of wood. Verse 36, wrought cedar versus just beams of cedar. Okay, could mean carved, like specially artistically carved. And then the last verse we'll look at is an omission regarding that he made the curtain of the court that was in front of the temple. So you won't find this. Actually, it's verse 36, isn't it? Okay, verse 36 is where that is located. So he made the curtain of the court of the porch of the house that was in front of the temple. So now we will look at the various images. So beginning with this one. This was very helpful. It really gives us a good visual of the 3 levels that was described in this chapter and how this structure was essentially the walls of the temple, and within the walls are 3 levels with differing widths. So the first chamber about 7 feet wide, the middle chamber 9 feet wide, and then the topmost, the uppermost was 10 feet wide, approximately. Again, they give different numbers, but we just go by what this says for now, just for the sake of the visuals. The 2 ornate wooden doors overlaid with gold right there. And the windows described as facing inward. What else can we see here? The vestibule, 30 feet wide, 15 feet deep. We haven't got into this yet, but the hollow bronze pillar. 2 ornate wooden folding doors overlaid with gold. Okay, we'll just focus on the temple for now. And the nave itself was 60 feet by 30 feet, contained the golden altar, and then the golden tables, and 10 golden lampstands, 5 on the north, 5 on the south. The inner sanctuary was the most holy place, 30-foot cube. Okay. And then it refers to the golden cherubim, 15 feet tall, with 15-foot wingspans. Okay, so that's the cube. Interesting, it's a cube. And now we'll look at the video. It's about a minute long. So this is from 1883 by Thomas Newberry. You'll notice that there's a lot of gold. That's what I noticed immediately. And as well, the holy place, the Holy of Holies, should be separated by a veil, but that is lacking. But everything else seems really beautiful. Beautiful, yeah. This isn't real gold, obviously. It would cost a lot more to make it real gold, but rest assured, real gold is a lot more breathtaking. And as the cherubim looking like old men, biblical angels tend to be a lot more frighteningly majestic, perhaps. And then you see the roof has a European influence because it is dome-shaped rather than being flat, as is most often portrayed. So I hope that was helpful to see that visual. Thank you very much for your time. Until next time, I bid you all Shalom Aleichem, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Assalamu alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Irini Mazisu, Pax Vobiscum. Peace be unto you. May the Lord bless you and keep you always. And Maranatha.